Alrighty.
All right, we are back. Week 9. When was the last time we did a Podball?
A while ago.
It might have been week 4, week 5. We've had not
I
made
think
it
it
back.
wasn't that bad. I think it's been 3 weeks off of the pod.
Was it 3? I thought it was like 4 or 5. It felt like a long time.
I don't know.
But all right, but we had to come back. We've got the race is close. A lot of people have a chance.
I have a chance to get my first win.
And then we had a pretty big trade. But we'll Austin, take it away with the power rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Last up, anyone have any surprise here with the pickle? 0-9, worst season I think in the history of our league by far. No movement in this end. Anything anyone have to add?
I just heard that this might be false rankings because the coaches may have spoken and he's not this low. All I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say is, like, we come back after 3 weeks, and this is how we started. We just tear into the pickle. It's like, hey, welcome to the pod. The worst player we've ever seen. Oh, no. tough opening. But no, 0-9 is rough. I feel like he's gotten hoed out of many wins, but still, rough.
I mean, worst team is factual. I don't think that there's ever been, like...
I'm just saying it's brutal. That's all I'm saying, dog.
See, it's a long season. We still have 3 games left.
Well, yeah. If you can not get, I will say this: if he figures out a way to not get last, it'll be the greatest comeback I think in the history of the league.
Well, and I mean, all you need is one win to not like. There's been a 1-11 team before, or a 1-12 team before. So, but right now you are on pace to beat that and go.
Well, I play Mark this week. That should be a win. I play Vinny at the end of the year. That should be a win. And I don't know who I play in the middle, but those should be wins as well.
Right,
So.
like, if you go 0-13, you might have to carry the doll while you're doing the marathon.
I think I'm going to pull a Mark and just never do my punishment then.
Oh, man. I mean, dude, I was saying if he could come back and not get last. That would be the best comeback of all time. You're saying 1-11, because he has to get the next closest wins is 2, right? So you got to gap Josh.
Yeah, and Josh had the tiebreaker over me because his team fucking went off again. I think that was another 160 or 150 point week that he got on me.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a chance.
Yep. All right, moving on. Speaking of Josh, he's here at number 9. For the fact checkers out there, my first typo. Or wait, no, that's accurate. No, not accurate. He's 2-7. Whatever.
Did you mess up the Chinese character and put a duck instead of the number?
No, I did not do that.
Okay.
They'll still go crazy in chat too. They'll just do it just because. It'll be Mark. It'll be Mark just saying like ridiculous.
Josh's team continues to struggle. We were talking about this a little bit before we went live. Like, I think he's a little bit better than his record suggests, but can't win games. And when you can't win games, you end up in the bottom of the power ranking. So simple as that.
Yes. I mean, it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been. He's at his points for right there. 10-23.
Yeah.
Has more points for than Johnny.
Interesting.
It's funny. Just 5 point.
Next up here, we have Dan's team with a new team name following the similar format. All done with throwing, though. He's now running Monty. Dan has been so streaky this year, so he went lose 3, win 3, lose 3 again. He's technically due to start winning 3 right now, which would bring him up to 6-6. But then he'd start his 3-game losing streak again after that. He'd be 6-7 and miss the playoffs. So it seems like Dan has pretty much no chance here. Dan also is probably going to become a lot worse now that CMC is back, and he had one of the best gifts of all time given to him by way of system player Mason from the 49ers. So Dan is probably going to continue to struggle. Something that may not have noticed is that every team that I start to eliminate in my own head from playoff contention is going to get some type of poetic leave from the league. So we had the Ode to the Pickle, we had the Asian prophecy or the Chinese prophecy for Josh. I thought it might be appropriate to ask ChatGPT to write an Eminem-styled diss about Dan's team in this season. So that's what we're seeing on the screen here today.
Okay, I see. So, and I agree with you on all of them.
See, I think this is where I start to disagree with you. I actually think he should be number 9 in Josh, because Josh has consistently put up points and nothing crazy is happening on Josh's team, where, like you stated before, Ford is gone, and yeah, I could see this team falling and falling quickly. I don't see a 3-game win streak, but you never know.
So an important delineation is that power rankings are not a coach's poll. When power rankings come out, these are not who is actually like the better team between them. These are looking at multiple factors between their record, their points scored, their like current hot versus coldness. So like if you've been good recently, you're more likely to be up in the power rankings versus not. And so while I'm not, so I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that Josh's team might be actually better. When you look at like kind of the whole overall gamut of what goes into power rankings, Dan would be above.
So basically, you're saying that you have a system. You're a system player. You just okay.
Yep.
You got the system. Yeah.
Yep.
Just want to know that.
All right.
Trump train number 1, baby.
I have a feeling we're not going to get some love off of this ranking here. Might get some worst of all times in the chat here, but Johnny's team is a fraud. Johnny's team is maybe the Trump train of 2020, claiming fraud across the election. He is not good. His points for suck. His points against is just what everyone dreams of on a regular basis. He's in the West, the easy division. Johnny's team stinks. He's not going to make the playoffs. I just got to say it.
Okay, so what I will say is I did look at Johnny's team. The Brian Robinson injuries hurts. But with A.J. Brown being injured, he has Neighbors, Devonta Smith, Nakua. He has Bijan. He has Kelsey. So it's like I feel like he still can get wins and get in the playoffs. I wouldn't say like he won't be able to, but he has no depth. If anything happens, his team is kind of crushed. It's like so fragile right now.
So, as the only West representative, we expect to be shit on and just really taken advantage of. Because when you look at this, you are telling me that Johnny's team, who has some real stars on it, is worse than Vinny, who is not going to sniff the playoffs? Because, per your own words, you guys are the better division. So something's got to give here. Now, I may be the only one on this podcast carrying the flag for the West, but this disrespect has got to fucking stop. 7! 7th for somebody. He's got to make the playoffs. Shit on the pickle. I'm 0-9. But you're shitting on one of my own brothers. 5-4. It just hurts.
Dude.
But this is what the system gets you. And I gotta understand that.
Hey, one thing I gotta give credit to, the West puts up a fight. They really do.
The West cares nothing more than the success of the teams that beat their ass.
I got one question for you. Who has 4 of the last 5 championships?
Yo,
Unknown.
get a fact check.
Okay, that's all I gotta ask. You can't answer the hard questions. It's okay.
Okay. We're
Keep
definitely going to need a fact checker for
disrespecting
that.
the West.
4 out of the last 5?
I believe so, yeah.
You believe so? Okay.
I
it has
think
been more.
I
thought it
think
was 3
Dan
out
is
of 5.
the only one from your guys' division that won.
In the last 5 years?
Well,
Are you sure it's
We'll
not?
fact check you, but we'll only let you know if you're wrong.
Sounds about right.
You'll hear from us soon if you're wrong. Yeah.
The West remembers.
All right. So, Johnny at 7.
Next up, Luke, 6. the West team that I actually like. Okay, so you can get off your soapbox now. This is a West team that I like and I respect. Luke has had an unlucky season. It's been rough at times, but he may just be getting hot right when he needs to. He's 4-5. He's not out of it because he's in the West Division, so he doesn't need to be like 7-win, 8-win, 9-win team like you do in the East to win the division. It's very feasible and possible to win this division with 6-7 wins. He's got the points for advantage, and again, his team is full strength. He's getting Nico Collins back. Jamar Chase is returning to Jamar Chase form. He doesn't have running backs, but he also didn't have running backs when he won last year. So that's just kind of his forte.
Yeah. So with Luke's team, Nico Collins they're predicting him to be out actually now. So he's not going to play this week. But the thing is, since Jamar Chase got 55 points, he's going to win this week. So yeah, he's back. Like, I think he's fully back. I actually think he makes the playoffs. And the thing is, there are some holes. You look at his team, like the running backs are weird, but I just trust that Luke's going to figure out to get the right points in there. I feel like, he's got the pedigree. He's been doing it. Like, seriously, the last few years, he's just like, he just works mastery and, like, actually gets it right. So I think he's going to come back. I want to see it, actually. I'm almost rooting for him to make the playoffs now. Like, at first, start of the season, did not want him to make the playoffs. But now he's had this, like, he's got this story to him, dude. I actually believe in him. I believe in Luke. Luke is back. Do you think Luke's back, Paul?
So there's two things I kind of want to address again. Number one, showing respect for the West. Again, there's another playoff team. You guys both acknowledged it, but we're going to put them down at number 6. 2 spots behind the actual playoffs. Just putting that out there.
So
it's a system, remember? It's a system.
Just respect. Different definitions.
No,
but regardless of that, no, I do agree with the fact that with the record of 4-5, he does have hope with the boom aspect. Like, you just never know. But the problem is, will he consistently get that throughout the whole rest of the way through? Because he doesn't have much depth.
He doesn't, but I just feel like he'll put it together.
Yeah.
I will say, like, to a lot of the teams he's probably going to play, he will objectively probably have worse lineups.
Mm-hmm. But again, he does have big boom, but we'll see. Can he sustain it? I think he can. I think, again, he's a little low. I think he should be at least 5. Sneaky on that door. And another one that had really a real chance of getting into the playoffs as even a second West person. Not even just as the champion. So.
But we got to remember, Paul, like, we can't hate on the power rankings too much because Austin did said, like, it's not him, it's the system.
I'm just saying
like,
that I'm hating on the system.
You have to hate the system.
I'm just saying, like,
it's like a barrier.
I know where this is going. We're just going to have all the East teams in the top 4, so it's just unfortunate. I'm just going to bring that back
Well, we'll
up.
see. Who's 5? I don't even know.
5 is a Trump train.
West.
Again, I don't know how you want me to respond to these here because we're just...
System. Remember, we'll just take it at face value.
Nah, the system is broke.
All right. So which one is this? Oh,
This is Mark.
Mark.
So, Mark moved down 2 spots. And again, like, I can talk about it openly. Power rankings are not coaches' polls. I have Mark higher in my coaches' poll. I have Mark 3 in my coaches' poll per my personal ranking. But Mark and Paul had one of the biggest matchups of the season last week, and Paul won, so Paul moves up, Mark drops. That's how a power ranking is going to work. Mark now has a 1-game disadvantage in comparison within that division. He still has a little bit of a disadvantage at the points for area, just because mostly of like the early season. So like again, I think Mark has a very good chance of turning things around and winning this division. He would probably be my pick to win the division, but he lost last week. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all these teams are pretty close. I feel like it's whatever. Like, I think that's good. There's a lot of people in similar spots right now.
Yeah, I would say the 5 through 3 teams, which we'll see in a second here. Very, very difficult. I would they're all basically dead in a dead heat, as I would say. Which, speaking of that, we can move on to the next one. The next Trump train. This one is, I forgot to put the name up there, but this is Paco. And so Paco leading the West Division. He's 6-3. He won that big game that we talked about. He does have the points for advantage across that division. He doesn't have it across wildcard spots, so should he get overtaken, then he in ties with me or Vinny for wildcards, he'll likely lose that matchup. But again, winning the division right now, he's been good overall. I've consistently had doubts about Paco's running back room, and that continues with me as my main concern with this team. But again, can't really argue with the results of 6 wins there.
Are you sure? I mean, because I feel like his receivers look worse.
I was going to go with the receivers there because you look at Cortland Sutton, and that's...
He has Taylor and Cook as well. So those are 2 good running backs, right? But right now, he's got Tank Dell and Sutton in.
I like Tank Dell.
But
the
Metcalf
flex
is out, and Hopkins might just save him. He got Hopkins, which I actually think makes his lineup pretty strong again. So it's he's actually somewhat thin. A little bit. But no,
I like the big pieces, but yeah, I like Mark's team a little bit more than this team, to be honest, just because of the boom aspect. And the big thing is the quarterback, too. Jared Goff, will he keep throwing the ball? Does he need to throw the ball? And is Jordan Love going to stop throwing picks?
Is there many of these teams in the middle that actually have depth? Because what I've seen from Johnny's team and I've seen from Paul's and what I'm sure we're going to see, I think these teams don't have so much depth. I think their starting lineups are good.
Mark had a little bit of depth. He had 2 players that he could play.
Mark has depth.
Yeah.
Mark does? Oh, with CMC back?
Yep. Yeah, because, I mean, he's got... his wide receivers right now are Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams, and DJ Moore, and he's still got Mike Evans coming back from injury soon.
He actually does have a deep team. And Baker Mayfield, that's the perfect QB for Mark's team identity.
Yep.
Baker it's just perfect. That's actually QB Mark should have every year. It's Baker.
Yep.
Just putting out there, you love the number 5 team. So continue. Let's see the teams that you like even better.
All right, the 3.
Number 3, the Doormat.
This is a real banger of a team, guys.
They are on a 4-game win streak, Pickle. I had this number, or I meant to pull this number, but he's been putting up 130 to 150 over all the last 4 weeks that he's won. If you remember the beginning of the season, I didn't love Vinny's team. I had him down at number 7. Vinny's one of those other teams that you guys were just talking about, no depth. If something goes wrong, he's not going to be able to continue. But this team just seems like they're peaking. The doormat mentality resonates. Vinny put on the doormat hat, and it was like Dan Campbell putting on the grit hat. His players responded. This is not a team that I would like to play right now.
Actually, I didn't know A.J. Brown's back. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. Really good starting lineup, not a ton of depth. It's really Mark's the only team that has some depth. Of the lineups, the starting lineups are good. As long as Swift and Dobbins can get you solid points.
So one of the big things is he had that running back issue now of not having that go-to system running back. And losing that, I don't think you could say that he's peaking right now. With that, he's going downhill. Sure, A.J. Brown is coming back, but he's coming back for a week or 2. I agree, he is a top 4 team, but I think we look at Mark's team. I think we even look at Johnny's team. You now don't only have the upside, but you also have a little bit of a bench for both of them.
Wait, can you clarify what do you mean by what player were you saying was good for him and then isn't anymore?
Oh, who was it? Debo. Debo wasn't doing as well anymore, and I think with CMC coming back, I really think his usage rate is going to go way down.
You're wrong.
I will say Kittle has been taking, Kittle's look good, so there's some there, but Ayuk's dead, right? That's got to mean something.
Yep.
I may be wrong, but he's still the 37th wide receiver without having one of the more prolific running backs coming back.
He hasn't actually looked like amazing.
He's been injured most of the season.
True.
But also, that's also a strength of Vinny's team where he hasn't had great points over the last several weeks, but Vinny's been winning.
I'm not saying that Vinny's team is bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we just saw three better teams in his team right now. But.
It's more power rankings, basically. Yeah. Respect it.
We gotta respect the West.
You gotta respect. He's the representative of the West. He's got to put up a fight.
All right, number 2, Jayton Canuels, villainous rookie of the year. Another typo for the fact checkers out there. I'm 7-2.
He will get that one right. He'll get that one right for sure.
Yeah, make sure you remember that. Dominant team. If I was not in the East with Steve's dominant team, we would just be running away with both of our divisions. My team has still only had one single week that scored less than 100 points. I'm above 125 points every single week. Might not have the booms of the 180s like everyone else, but this team just does it week in and week out. I think that I had a monstrous trade this week. Not so much in making me better week to week. I think, as most people have pointed out, Mixon and Saquon are pretty comparable week to week, but I think that just gives me an absolutely huge advantage in the playoffs, which I will be in pretty confidently saying at this point.
Yeah, it's what I'll say about the trade really quick is insanely good trade for you, because I think Saquon's very good, but also if you just take away the fact, it's okay, let's hold them at both. They're saying they're even. Mixon wasn't playing week 14 in the playoffs, and Saquon is. So that's just a massive jump for your team, and I think he's the more electric player. But what I will say is your team is incredible, but Paul, you know the score of that Thursday night game? You know what that score was? Thursday night? It was 34-35.
Yeah.
Ravens won. A lot of scoring. Henry only getting 14.
Only 14, wow.
Only 14 in a 35-point game, all touchdowns. So, there's not for sure a guy that's going to go off every week in Henry. And then who knows about receivers.
How many players on both of your teams score 14 points and you are disappointed by it?
Let me see. Not disappointed, Connor. A little disappointed in CeeDee Lamb and Cup. Kamara, no. I wouldn't complain about that.
If 14 points is warranting disappointment for a player, sign me up.
Yeah, but also
give me a whole roster of players that 14 points is their disappointment.
But what we're saying is we're not saying regular season. We're saying playoffs, right? Can this team be beat? You can beat 14.
Have you seen Derrick Henry's playoff schedule?
Don't matter, dog. 14, dude. The Bengals D is not very good. The Bengals D is doo-doo.
That was a lot of cute talking there. The West will speak now. I can't disagree that per the system that you are second. I agree with that. Yes. We'll see if you hold on to that spot. I do seriously have some questions about your team. If we're going to question the depth of the West and we're going to question different things, we got to do the same for you and your Holy East. When we look at this team here, we have a solid team. I cannot complain. Like you said, 14 points. But the problem is we're glazing over your two running backs. But what about your two wide receivers? We look at those two, and Amari Cooper may be good. He may not be good. That's a big uncertainty. But that's okay because we look at your bench, and who do we put in? Jalen Reed? Maybe. We'll see if he catches the picks that Jordan Love throws. And that's coming from a Packer lover over here. And then we also look at who else? Oh, Calvin Ridley. Well, I hate
He picked him
Calvin
off
Ridley.
waivers.
I hate Calvin Ridley so much. And then let's go to your star receiver right now, Tyreek Hill. Is Tyreek Hill someone you want to build a championship team around? Hell yes. Back in 2022. Back in 2020. Really? Any year until 2024. We got to be real here. His quarterback is one toothpick away from being a vegetable. So, yes, I like your team. But this is a lot of confidence from the two of you. It was really cute to see you guys kind of have a make-out sesh there. But, goddamn, we look at Mark's team. We look at Johnny's team. We even look at Luke's team. We have more stability and more just hope when you look at those teams because we're one injury away. And real quickly about the trade, I don't think it was a bad trade at all. I personally like Mixon more, but I'm also 0-9 this year. But then Barkley, this is a real concern. How many of his touchdowns will be sniped by the tush push? So, yes, number 2 right now, but in the words of one of your beloved members, Josh's favorite team, one of his favorite coaches, Mark D'Antonio, pride becomes before the fall. So we got to be careful here. Got to be careful.
Just remember, Paul, 1 in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush.
Poetic.
Wow. Okay. The thing is, Austin is in the playoffs. Like, regardless of what happens, like he's gonna make the playoffs. There's no way he doesn't make the playoffs.
There is a chance. Yes, 92, 90%, I think, 91. 93. But there's still that chance that you could get Vinny.
We don't know
you
what
guys
he's
are
gonna do.
really, really, really high on the hot Vinny.
Hey.
Vinny could be the one that's dethroning one of the two of you. I really don't think, Steve, you'll be dethroned because you're a game up. 2 games up, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm 8 wins. But,
it's possible.
but by the way, makeout session. I was saying that I think Austin's team has some fragility. Okay. I thought
Agility as you're feeding him hope of Barkley is amazing. Barkley's good.
Well, that's my true opinion. He's a fucking
Barkley
dog.
is good, but like
He's
the tush
backwards
push.
hurdle and Josh trades him. He just did the most insane play. I've watched that play like 40 times. I can't believe it. Like the
No,
player doing
we'll-
that.
we'll see.
And then Austin gets him.
We'll see. I like to move for both of them. We'll see how it works out.
Do you realize like defenders now will just be so scared to just look like an absolute fool against him? He's gonna go off.
We'll see. We'll see.
Last up, our last Trump train of the night, Steve's team. Steve is 8-1. Steve did overtake me for the most points for across the league. So by all metrics, all categories, Steve is the number 1 team in the league at this point. Yeah, not really too much else to add on my side there.
Yeah, and besides that 50-point week, take that shit out of there. Like, it's actually been crazy. But the thing is, I'm concerned about some of my players. Like, CD, no Dak. Kamara somehow gets points. Like, literally, he doesn't have any yards. He has, like, 9 catches. But I don't know. We'll see. I love my team, though. Good spot. I've never been in a spot like this before. It's actually weird. Because, Austin, you did this where you, like, just had crazy seasons, and then you lost first game in the playoffs, right? That was...
Yep. I know it well.
We'll see. I'm just happy to be back again.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Last thing here is just the overview of the power rankings and the coaches poll. Trump train really is high in the coaches poll.
Dominating. That is a red wave right there.
You look at what the people say, and you look at the power rankings. There's a lot of respect for the West where the people spoke. Just saying.
The people of 5 have spoken.
But yeah, that is the power rankings of today. So where do we want to go next?
All right, well, perfect.
Do we want to talk about the upcoming matchups?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's just go look at that. Just you have to check fantasy because
Yep.
also it's what is it, Friday night? So
Yeah.
we've had Thursday night's game, which has had some insanity.
Wow, yeah.
Probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Luke has. We'll start with Austin. We got Austin, Josh this week. Basically, if Austin gets one more win, he's in the playoffs. It's probably going to happen right here. It's my computer.
Okay.
It's just dying. But yeah, I really think Austin's is going to win this game. Do you think Austin loses this game, Paul?
No, I don't think he does. You look across the board. Yeah. It would be kind of funny if Mixon outscores Barkley this week. And it's kind of ironic that they play each other.
Dude, maybe actually Austin deserves to lose this one because he traded 2 players. And usually you lose if you do a trade with someone. The players will just go off, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, I think Austin, this is clearly a good win for you, good matchup. Sorry, Josh, but I need you to lose the rest of your game, so I'm not last.
And Broncos D versus KC. I would change that. Would not keep.
No. He's keeping that in. He's keeping that in.
That's a little risky. Oh, you don't have your savior. Oh, you have Evan Ingram. He's
Yeah,
back,
he's
dude.
got Ingram.
Austin's favorite player in the whole league, Evan Ingram.
He's the most hated player in the whole league.
But the thing is, he doesn't get many targets. Never mind. I'm joking. I know about the target stat. I know. I was just joking.
Okay, wait, I just don't want to even talk about targets. I want to talk about points. I want to talk about points, Steve. Look at him since he's been back.
Actually,
Top
it's,
5 tight end.
Yeah.
actually, with 10 targets each, only getting that points is pretty.
Honestly, Austin, you might
Okay,
really...
the first game, no touchdown. 18 no touchdowns, incredible.
Honestly, Austin, if you play dual tight ends in the playoffs, you might have a chance.
Could be there.
Don't worry about wide receivers.
He's close to Kyle Pitts level, but he's not quite there.
Wow, that is the biggest diss you could ever give a tight end.
Dude, Kyle Pitts is the man.
I
By the
could
way, that
have-
trade redefined my fucking team, and I'll go to my deathbed saying that shit. I remember
If I
people
could
saying a
have
relevant
5
trade.
Kyle Pitts on my team and like be able to start all of them in the tight end position, just five tight ends, but they're all Kyle Pitts or Evan Ingram. I'd rather Evan Ingram.
Yeah, and you'd also lose. So that's just like your preference, but you do have a love. My love for Pitts is, but like he's been playing good, dude. Like his ceiling is growing, dude, every day.
Austin, do you have the percentage of what the people voted in that game?
Oh, we're done. Oh, okay. What were the people?
Where is it? 60% me, 40%. Oh no, opposite. 60% and Josh, 40% me.
I voted for you.
Did you?
Thanks.
I did.
Wow.
I truly need Josh to lose.
Mm-hmm. I voted for us as well. So there's the 3. Wait,
There.
so did more people do than?
What? It's only 2 people. I know I voted for Austin there, but
Okay.
All right.
And then we
next
have
up, Lukey and Dan here.
Dan's the system 3 wins is not looking great. Not looking great. Probably the most unreal stat. 3 players in, 96 points.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. Maybe next week.
Let's see. Travis Etienne. Okay, he's got the Lions. So if the Lions put up 75 points, there is a shot he could win this.
I do love that Dan is still faithful because he's got to be the only one. Because this poll went out after last night.
Oh, man. Yeah.
keep hope alive.
So he's got hope. That's good.
Yeah, no, Lukey's team is far superior.
Oh, and Zay. Oh, he didn't start Zay last week. He starts this week, and he
I
lets
wonder
him
if he's
down.
ever started Zay in a correct way.
Messaging you, Dad. Thank you for not accepting the trade. Had a
we
trade for Zay this week.
We could go down that route really quickly to just look at Dan's Zay startage percentage.
I bet you Dan will never draft Pittman ever again.
All right. He
Nope.
didn't play Zay week 1, scored 11.
Who is
Week
this?
2,
Flowers.
this is Zay Flowers. Week 2, he started him. He scored 22.
Good start.
Week 3, he started him. He scored 4.
Hurt.
Week
He scored
4, he started him. He scored 2. Week 5.
He benched him. But
No, he
He
started.
started him 19.
Okay.
Week
Good.
6,
Oh,
He
we got a bench.
benched him.
22.4. Okay. So now he's frustrated, but does he stick? He puts him in. He gets a
Starts
4.
at 4.
He takes him out.
Hit them. 18.
18.5. Okay. Don't tell me he puts him. No, he sits him and then goes crazy, right?
Hits him. 30.
And then is this current now?
No, we got. Oh wait.
Yeah, this is current.
Oh, that is current. So yeah, then
Then he plays him and he gets him 7. Oh, Dan, that is rough. Poor man.
we have a new player on his shit list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's drafting Zay Flowers again either.
All right. Next up, the old Trump train versus Trump train.
I think Trump Train will win. I think Paul will win this one.
This is really kind of like a father versus son matchup. Like, this is
Yeah, the thing with this is like this is the same thing with my my matchup with Johnny. Like, if everyone plays pretty close, but Brian Robinson's out again, and Johnny just doesn't have a single backup running back.
Let's talk, Johnny. I love neighbors.
you already got rid of Wandell, his fucking savior. He didn't do shit. Mark actually lost that trade giving him Dottle. That was almost like charity.
Dottle
Wandell is useless.
is actually usable. Wandell is a waiver, especially with neighbors healthy.
Some generation from the West. Trump train to Trump train. Dude, he took him all right by the train.
Yeah, I like Paul's team in this matchup.
Yeah, I just think Paul's going to own.
And let's take a look at the polls. Trump train is 80% and Trump train is 20%. So
Real close matchup.
Probably, yeah. I think we know which one's which.
all right. Next up, we have Vinny and the doormat with the last Trump train in Steve. Steve obviously got off to a good start here with Lamar.
It's kind of been the, I would say the reason I've done well this season is literally Lamar. He just always starts me off with a good base. It's incredible this year he's had. He just always is consistent. Even in the bad games, he somehow gets good points.
It's crazy.
When did you draft him?
59th. I thought he dropped. I was like, what? Because that's the only reason I drafted him. I was not planning on drafting Lamar, but he was there in the 6th round.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I picked Vinny in this one, I think. Not necessarily that I think, again, Vinny's team is like a pound-for-pound better matchup, but I just think that Vinny has that boom potential. He's got the hot streak going, and, Steve's won, 6 straight. I just feel like at some point your luck has to run out.
And I'm sticking with the Lions D. They've been treating me good.
Risky play, but I like it.
Dude, the defenses are the worst this year.
I know.
Is that not? Is it every time I'm trying to figure out defense? It's it's just so hard this year to figure out the right defense to play. Have you guys struggled with defensive issues? What have you had? Have you kept a team or just because I feel like there's not many great choices. Certain years you can just take them first off the waiver wire and get good choices.
I'm not going to give away my defensive strategy, but there's
That's a system. Dan, it's got to build up. I feel like I've done pretty well, but it still feels rough. Yeah, Doormat's getting the metal cleat treatment today. I mean, this week we're just gonna rip that open and let him worry about Luke coming in to steal the spot.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Luke nipping at his heels, and then he's really nipping at Mark and Paul's heels, so a lot of nipping going on. All right, last matchup. Oh, this is actually our last Trump train. Mark versus Pickle. Pickle had a good start. Chase Brown.
Thank you, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Mark's still projected to win, but I think I picked Pickle in this one.
If you want to look at something funny, I've never seen someone talk more about a player and
Oh,
then
no.
never start him and have
Oh,
that player
no.
go off every week.
He
Man,
started 2 weeks in a row
praise
now.
Josh Downs. Talks about Downs, trades him in fucking every trade. Never starts him, and he's gotten actually insane points.
Yeah, I started him
Now
last
he's
week.
in the lineup.
I started him last week.
I would love for you to beat Mark here, but is McCaffrey back this week? So he's back.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully not.
He's not starting him yet. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I would actually take the pickle.
Who did McCaffrey play this week?
Wow, look at the season he's been having.
I don't know.
Dude, wow.
I think he's at the time.
10.
Tampa Bay.
Vita Vea is still out, isn't he? Dang. Yeah, I mean, punter's chance I might get a win here. I don't like Marvin Harrison this week.
He's starting off 22 strong.
I don't like Najee this week. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not very confident in my team this week, but we'll see. You know who's really been fucking me over? Stupid T. Higgins. That guy is always freaking injured. And when he's not injured, he's really good.
Yeah, but then you got 55 up there in Cincy. Yeah.
They're a great compliment to each other.
All right, so that's the last one, right?
Yep.
So what if we can just go to the standings page and just like talk about like different playoff things? Because one thing I definitely wanted to talk about was Luke. Luke controls his own destiny. So Dan, by the way, one of the biggest haters of probably the power rankings and of
Just all things.
yeah, basically everything's in chat. Actually, right? Everything in chat Dan disagrees with. I just totally lost my train of thought. Which was Luke. Luke. By the way, saying Luke like it was the most absurd thing to say. Luke has a better chance to get the playoffs than Mark and Johnny. His points for is better by a lot. He now has a win against Dan. I mean, 96-point lead. It's not. He has won. His next few games are Johnny, Mark, and Paco. So he literally plays the two. So if he beats them, he switches records and he has more points for. So he literally controls his own destiny. If he wins the next 3 weeks, he's in. I think he's in. He's actually all the way back.
This might be too hopeful for Luke.
He's only got 5 losses too.
But
so
Luke
he goes
likes the
7-6, doesn't he?
negative. He thrives in the negative.
Yeah.
This might be too hopeful.
So I think Luke has actually a really good chance. I think the 19% is going to switch after this week.
Well, literally just depends on if he wins or not. It's crazy.
So what do you guys think about Luke? Do you think Luke will actually make it back to playoffs, or do you think he'll lose a game or two?
I mean, I still think that like if it's a lesser chance than the teams that already have wins, but I mean, I guess he's right there with the rest of them.
So looking at this here, I kind of see that we have Steve for sure locked in. Austin, you're kind of right there. And Paco's kind of right there. And I really only see one spot up for grabs. Barring an utter collapse by you, Austin, which I don't really see that happening.
You did like 15 minutes ago.
Well, I was warning you not to be so confident because it could happen. It really could, and then we could get 3 West teams in, and then that would just be the worst thing ever. But no, I really see that it's a race between Mark and Luke, and I think it will be decided probably next week they play each other. I think it's next week that they play each other.
Yeah.
So like I really think it's going to be 2 teams from each division, and I think it's going to be for sure Paco and either the winner of Mark and Luke. Johnny could sneak in there, but
So
I don't know.
if Johnny somehow beats Paco this week, and Johnny goes 6-4, and Paul goes 6-4, that can make everything wild, because then it's like that's where Luke needs Paul to beat Johnny to create that spot open. Then I have to beat Vinny, and I think it's in his hands. But I think that game's really big, because if Johnny loses that game, I think he's done. His points for is not good enough. I think if he loses that game, goes 5-5, I think it's really, I think someone will win. Someone will win out from there. Like he'll be 5-5. Someone will win out, and he'll get like. Well, I guess he still has a chance at 8-5. I don't know. I don't see because there's so many close records this year, right in that spot. But it's actually pretty up for grabs. This is gonna be tough because it's hard to say. So if you guys were gonna predict right now, who would you put? Who's playoffs right now?
Paul, Mark, Steve Austin.
So Steve, me, Mark, and Vinny.
So you really see Paul kind of collapsing here?
I mean, it's not a total collapse. Like, Vince is one single game behind Mark, and behind Paul, and he has the points advantage. So, like, one additional win by Vinny to loss by Paul, and that's a swap.
I think it's gonna be 2-2. I think it's 2 East, 2 West because what was it, like week 3, week 4? Everybody's hot on Luke. I predicted the downfall of Luke. I said this team will struggle. Okay, and now I say it will rise. It's gonna be in the playoffs, dude. I'm rooting for this Luke story, and I think Paco's gonna take care of business with Johnny. And I think I'm gonna beat Vinny, and Luke's gonna be right the thing. If Pickle can beat Mark, he's actually in.
Interesting. I just went through this, but I would have thought 4 and 5 teams had a lower percent chance, but actually throughout the years, 25% of all 4 and 5 teams have actually ended up making the playoffs. So Luke is not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, but I think how his points 4 lines up, like it's really leaning like he is one of the exceptions that would break through. But obviously he's got to get a win. He's got to get a win in the few coming weeks as well. He's got to keep winning. But I think it's going to be me, Austin, Paul, Luke. So
I find it interesting that you think Paul for sure has it locked up over Mark. I think Mark's team is, from like an actual just like what it looks like right now perspective, I think Mark's team is right up there with mine and your team.
Well, I think Paco's going to win this week. He's going to go to 7-3, and Luke plays Mark coming up, and I just think he's going to beat Mark. And Mark's points 4 is not that good. Yeah. It's not very, very good. I think points 4 will come back because I think what's going to happen is the person who's going to get in the playoffs is going to be tied. It's going to literally come down to points 4. I feel like it does almost every year. Like one team gets in because of points 4, but we'll see. It might not. Like there's so many directions this could go. But I just think
it
Luke
would be 7 and 6. So every team that's ever finished the season with 8 wins is like every single time they've made the playoffs. But if you're a 7-win team, it completely comes down to points 4.
And also, we're forgetting one of the main factors. Who's probably the only team we've talked about that has depth?
Mark.
Who is the worst starter in the history of the league? The worst at starting the right players. The worst team to have depth has depth.
Fair.
Now the thing is, can he fuck it up? I don't know if he can.
He's been pretty on this year.
No, because the team's so hard to set. Like his team's so hard not to set up right. But it's Mark, dude. We got a little history here.
Yeah, we'll see.
I hope that he doesn't listen to this podcast because he's gonna hear that. And like you're right, Paul. He's been pretty good about it this year, but he's gonna hear us talking about it. And it's gonna get in his head, and all he's gonna think about is who am I gonna start and who's gonna go off on my bench. And he's gonna overthink it. And he's gonna switch him out 3, 4, 5 times, and he'll be wrong every time.
It's just pressure, and when pressure comes, he doesn't adapt to it that well. And the thing is, right now he's had no pressure, but we're applying a little bit of pressure now, okay? And just watch. Well, wait, dude. I'm gonna be hawking it, looking at like who does well on his bench, who does well starting.
It's a lot of system talk over here.
That's not system, baby. That's playing with someone's head.
Sounds like you're trying to use the system to play with someone's head. And when you use the system, nothing good ever happens.
My goodness. All right, well, yeah, so do we have anything else we want to go over? I think we're pretty, we got, we went through, we got the playoffs chances and stuff. So the fight for 9th is, so Paul, you need to be marked this week, right?
I need to, yeah.
So if you're going to be on the path of getting 9th, Mark. It's a path that also Mark fails on.
Well, he can still come back. He
No, once
He's gonna
Mark
be,
gets a
no.
loss,
Did you just hear what I was? Did you just hear what I said? Who was going to get the playoffs? Paul, Mark. How that's going to happen is I'm beating Mark this week. Mark is playing Luke next week. The winner of that game gets into the playoffs. That's either going to be Mark or Luke, and I think it's going to be Mark.
When they talk about like football team playoffs, right? Like
Yep.
real football team playing other football teams.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they go with one football team
Mm-hmm.
because that team doesn't make as many dumb brainhead mistakes
Yep.
in the playoffs. Like certain coaches, right? It's like, oh, this organization, this coach.
Yeah.
So when you look at Luke and you look at Mark, who's going to make the better decision? Who are you going to trust, right? Like, it's not just the team. Mark's team looked good.
That's a very valid question, and I think it really depends on the state of mind of Luke. Is Luke hating his team, or is he loving his team? If he's hating his team, I'm going to pull for Luke. If he's loving his team, you go for Mark every day of the week, even with all of his lineup fuck-ups. The moment Luke loves his team...
Luke has spoken in the last week. That means he loves his team.
So that's something you got to consider.
Luke is
I don't know.
back.
It was like as soon as, like, Paul, you are so right with that analysis because, like, as soon as Paul changed, or as soon as Luke changed his team name to 2025 and said that he's giving up on the season and potentially the league, his team has caught fire.
Now, the one thing that may help him isn't the trade deadline this week or something like that, so he can't trade any of his players away. So that may help him.
The trade that he has done some crazy trades this year where it's just been like Dan has this fight with Zay Flowers. If that was Luke's team, week 1 he goes bad, he's traded.
Gone.
He's gone.
Not only trades, but look at the just moves on the year. Luke has 81.
He has more than I do.
What? That's double than anyone else.
Yeah.
This man, he puts in the work. What is that, dude? What the? Wait, that's over 10 a week or something? Oh, it's right under. Okay.
But like a move constitutes like dropping, adding, and trading. It's not just moving them back and forth in your lineup, I believe.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But
That's
Luke
crazy.
is probably the number one. You look at the waiver wire, like the recent activity, and it's one player dropped, picked up, dropped, picked up, dropped, picked up. He will flip flop on a player.
Not gonna lie, I think I
5
snagged,
times.
and I haven't played him, so it didn't matter. But I think I snagged Madison one week because of that.
Yeah. No, Madison's been tossed around the waiver wire for sure.
I'm going to take a look at his...
Oh, it's so different. It's like a completely new team. Part of the reason the comeback story would be so great. $20.25 right there.
Brees Hall, gone. A-Chain, gone.
Adams.
Monte, gone. Nico Collins, back. Hurts, gone. Rice, dead. Javonte Williams,
Gone.
Mostert, gone.
McConkey gone. Ferguson gone. Wait,
Jack, gone.
wait, does he only have Nico Collins and then technically Rashee Rice, but he's gone for the year?
That is
Not
wild.
even, like, Rice isn't even in his IR anymore.
Rice
He's
is
gone.
gone.
This is one player from the draft.
One play.
One.
That's impressive.
In order to complete this cycle, Luke has to get rid of Nico Collins.
Dude, I'll hit him up for a trade. I think that's the one Luke will not get rid of.
I have
This
tried.
is his whole hope, his whole scheme is building. Like when Paul said around Tyreek Hill, he'll build around Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Nico Collins is his building block. I think that is his, and he's just completely built
But
the
that's,
team
no,
around.
you're still thinking like a normal, rational fantasy football player. Luke doesn't live in this realm of fantasy football. He lives in the next realm where he speaks fluently with the fantasy gods, and he learned that he had to cycle through his whole team. He can't have any players that he drafted on this roster.
And probably the most insane thing about it, he's traded his whole team. He's grinded the waiver wire. I feel like right now, it's like, I can't drop anybody, right?
Yeah.
He still has 3 defenses. He still has 3 defenses. But guess what? He's got a great matchup this week. I guess, maybe. Well, Carolina against Giants. But, like,
Yeah, this is the reason you can't get a good defense, Steve, is because Luke just has all of them.
Yeah.
dude, Luke has literally made it.
There's multiple
nightmare on
people
the
are
waiver wire.
streaming defenses now. It's so fucking annoying. I'm literally gonna have to draft the defense next year in like the I don't know, 14th round or actually something before the last.
Well, the thing for me about defenses is I get so paranoid about injuries that for me it's like I'd love to put 3 defenses on my lineup, but I just want to have all these players just in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to streamline a defense, but gotta give props to the man. Good old Luke, man. But yeah,
Well,
I think
good little tangent to finish us out there then.
I think so. All right, well, good luck to everybody this week. This is actually a big week. See who can be in playoffs. See if Lukey's going to continue the story, but see if the Mark and Johnny, so much hated on as Paul says in the West, can make a comeback.
Yeah, and can I get my first win?
Yep,
We shall see.
All right, guys. Peace.
See ya.
Everyone.